Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Daniel Cairns. I'm the Head of Enrolments here at Fourth Rev, working in true collaboration with the Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education, and it is my great pleasure to welcome so many of you to this event designed to assist you obtain entry into the Data Science with Machine Learning and AI Career Accelerator. It is great to see so many of you. If you'd like to put a little name and where you're located in the chat, would be more than welcome. More than happy to welcome you from wherever you are around the world. Today is about you and what it takes to also meet the entry criteria to this career accelerator. So therefore, what we do encourage is a great deal of interaction and also questions from you as an audience. We're going to go through a number of things, but no doubt when you do have questions, please do remember to pop them in the Q&A function down the bottom there, not the chat. We'll use the chat for some links for where you are. I've got some questions for you as well. So please use the Q&A function for your questions of either myself or Felipe as well. Some of you may have already spoken with your enrolment advisor. Some of you have not. We're going to offer the opportunity after the session to also book a time to discuss your individual circumstances. But I thought what I'd do first is give you a quick overview of the program, regardless of whether you've spoken with your enrolment advisor or not. Because it's important. The Career Accelerator has witnessed many learners go through now and obtain their intended career outcomes that we're so proud of, but it's born first of a true collaboration between us here at Fourth Rev, Cambridge ICE and industry. So we always engage with industry first when designing career content, career-related content such as this. And some of the things that significant employers such as the Bank of England and others did tell us that they were not experiencing with the people that they were recruiting was I guess, the most important thing that they recognise regularly was the business application of the technical skills obtained, say, in a master's. That was lacking. So therefore, it is completely industry integrated. And as you can see on the screen, it's actually 4 courses and 20 industry relevant activities in the form of mini and major projects, and 1 significant employer project at the end. So it's 7 months of learning. It stretches out with a little bit of a break in between each of the 4 courses, and this cohort upcoming will also have a 3-week break for the festive break over December. And you get a great deal of support in the form of tutors, in the form of industry mentors, in the form of Cambridge's academics, and also a career coach that I'll come to in a moment. Course 1, applying statistics and core data science techniques in business. You can even see in the title of the module of the course that it's business related. So it's very technical, but hyper focused on the business application of the technical, as I mentioned. Course 2, solving business problems with supervised learning, with a week's reflection after that point. Course 3, applying advanced data science techniques. That's a little bit longer. As you can see, it's got 2 major projects there, along with the 6 portfolio projects. So there is a break in the middle. And then you have another week's reflection before your final course, which is the future of data science using AI and the employer project. For those of you that aren't aware, it's an extremely practical program with no exams, and everything that you submit helps you build a portfolio, but also enables you to apply your learning outcomes to that employer project. So to frame that quickly for you, yourself along with 5 or 6 other high caliber learners will be grouped together in a team, and you'll meet with one of our employer partners. They'll present to you a real big data and big machine learning project that they're currently either working on or have the opportunity of utilising in their business or their organisation. And as a team, once you've received that request for service, so to speak, you'll go through and applying the learning from your first 3 to 4 courses, come up as a team with innovative and tangible solutions to that scenario, presenting your recommendations back to that client in a consultancy style presentation at the end. The benefit of that is numerous. It's practical application of learning in a real world setting. It is brilliant for networking more deeply, both with your high caliber peers, but also industry leaders. And lastly, if it is you're seeking to change your career into data science or advance your career existing within data science, it's a much more powerful demonstration of your value to a prospective employer to demonstrate that you've worked on that real type of project before with industry, rather than demonstrate an exam result, for example. That all culminates lastly with the opportunity of engaging with a further support in the career coach. Often when we survey our learners at the completion of a cohort, it's the relevance of the learning and the content that resonates with people mostly, followed by very closely the career coaching. Throughout the program, you'll receive one-on-one career coaching. And this is not a HR graduate talking to you about just your resume or LinkedIn. This is a career coach that's going to develop specific strategies with you to help you achieve your intended career outcome. Pleasingly, though, we're always listening to our learners, and we are in a position where we now extend that for 6 months beyond the course. So you'll actually obtain that one-on-one monthly career coaching session designed for you to have that rapid impact within your career, to obtain the best return on your educational investment that you can for the time in which you'll be potentially seeking new roles, often which is after the program is completed. Some just other quick points, because we're not always here to learn about this, but entry criteria is such that you need to have completed a minimum of a bachelor degree with a quantitative unit of study and have 1 year of professional experience exposed to an element of data, is the best way to put it. You don't need to be an analyst. If you're in sales or if you're in software engineering or things like that, and you're exposed to the use or collation of data, that satisfies that requirement. If you don't have a bachelor degree or that relevant work experience, if you don't have that bachelor degree, we can extend out that work experience. So if you have been an analyst or something for a number of years, we can certainly put that forward to Cambridge as an edge case. The additional requirement is what we're all here to talk about today, which is Python. And before we get started, and before I introduce Felipe to the discussion, if you could, in the chat function, not the Q&A, we're going to use that for the questions, but if you could, in the chat function, mention 2 things in one message. Your level of Python proficiency, is it none, is it beginner, is it intermediate, for example? And in the second word, what are you looking to do? Change careers, put the word change, advance your career, put the word advance. So it might be beginner, change. If you can put those 2 words in, that will help us frame and tailor our discussion exactly to the majority of the cohort. So in the chat function, if you can put your level of Python proficiency and your intended outcome, be it change career, be it advanced career, we'll certainly get to personalising our content surrounding. Thank you for so many of you putting that in already. So enough of me, yeah? It is now my great pleasure to welcome our industry leader in this regard and our facilitator supporting our learners on the program with their Python experience. Felipe, welcome. It's great to see you as always. If I could ask you, for the audience benefit especially, is if you could give an overview of your background and experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Felipe Araya. I've been working as a data scientist for around 7 years, and I've been with Fourth Ref and Cambridge working for around a year and a half. Been helping out multiple students at this point in many different cohorts. So, and I'm here to help you guys with whatever you're going to need in Python. We can do that in a few different ways. So you can have one-on-one sessions with me, and also we'll be having more of group questions or more group sessions where we will discuss just the overall Q&A with everybody, or a particular topic that a lot of people seem to be struggling with. So I'm here to help you guys, and I've heard a bunch of all the different questions throughout all the time that I've worked with Fortress, so don't be shy to ask. There's probably somebody else already asked that question. So yeah, if anything, I'm here to help.
Brilliant. Thank you. And it's always amazing to have your commitment to the learners demonstrated in that way, but your presence here today is much appreciated as well. If we could start by saying and demonstrating for learners the level of Python proficiency. We've, so many of the audience have said, they're intermediate or beginner or have no experience, but just for clarity, what level do you feel is best that someone has? Because we don't want to be teaching Python at the beginning of the course when the intent is to be learning data science basically from the first and second week onwards. But what competency level or what particular libraries and things like that do people need to know to obtain entry into the program?
Yeah. Well, so that's exactly right. So during the program, Python is not directly taught, right? So Python is just a channel that we will use to be able to build all the machine learning and data science stuff that we will cover through the accelerator, right? But it's not particularly the point of focus. So one thing that is somewhat a requirement is that you're somewhat confident with the basic syntax of Python and some of the basic libraries that we'll be using. These libraries would include, for example, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn occasionally as well, and of course the basic native Python syntax. So all of these are the ones that you probably need to work a little bit, and more than anything, need to practice. But one thing I would say is that you don't need to become an expert on the syntax per se. The syntax comes with just with practice. As long as you understand what the code is doing and you're able to replicate it yourself, maybe even with some help, particularly if you have never had experience with Python, that is totally fine. It takes time to get all that syntax embedded into it because it's not necessarily intuitive, and there's also certain parameters and certain things that you can adjust for the different functions that there are in the language. So that's totally fine if you don't remember all of it all the time. There's not even people with 8 years of experience remember everything there is to know about the Python language, or like you can find anyone in the industry right now that will not be able to tell you everything that there is to know about Python. It's an extremely big universe. So it can be a bit overwhelming if you're just walking in there blindfolded, but trust me, you only need to know this particular tools for now for data science that are which come with these libraries that I mentioned, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and native Python. So as long as you understand what those functions and that syntax is doing, you'll be more than fine. But yeah, make sure to have plenty of practice because, as again, the accelerator is more about using your already acquired Python skills as a channel to build all the machine learning and the data science that you need for the accelerator.
Exactly. Great summary. And we are here also, obviously, not only today, but also with the resources and the process that we can take our learners on, assisting them to obtain that competency and then demonstrate that for entry. So the process there is we'll often, in an initial discussion with one of our candidates, such as the people in the audience today, identify and ask the questions relating to their level of Python experience, and if it's intermediate or you've demonstrated the use of those libraries and syntax previously, we can process your application straight away. If you need to learn Python, it's not unusual at all, and that's why we host not only this event but can provide you free resources in which you'll go through to develop the competence before you sit what is a pretty straightforward technical test. So I might talk through that process. So once you've secured your placement, we can provide you the free resources, and then you are able to take the test when you've developed that level of competence that Felipe just mentioned. We might, obviously, we've got some questions coming through that we'll get to shortly, but we might dive into what that test looks like if we can first. So if we can go to the next slide, Sam. It's made up of 13 questions, 10 of which are multiple choice, and there's 3 coding examples. An 80% pass mark is required. 90% of our participants, after going through and learning the basics, pass successfully. It is open source and it's not timed, but you must complete it in a single session, i.e. you can't log out and log back in. You've got to do it in one single session. Felipe, I might ask your good self, in relation to the overview of the technical tests, are there any insights that you could provide, or maybe we can jump into the next slide and demonstrate what some of them may look like, for example?
I think it would be good to give them, show them what they look like, and then I can expand on that, I think.
Yeah, so on the left, we've got a sample multiple choice question of which there's 10, for example.
Okay, so the type of questions that you normally come across for this test are mainly around the basic functionalities of Python. So you can see in this slide, they're asking about the syntax for slicing a list. A list is just an object that exists within Python language. And it is you're supposed to operate them in a particular way. And this question is just simply to see if you have that understanding of how this list are able to operate and how the syntax of this basic Python element works. And a lot of these questions will be oriented on these basic topics and basic understanding of this syntax. Of course, there's a few varying degrees of difficulty in the questions, but they're mostly related to if you have that core foundation in the Python language. There's nothing too crazy in there, but it's the bar that at least measures that if you have that foundation level.
Yeah, exactly. And be able to make a successful commencement in the program without needing too much or without being overwhelmed, I should say. Then there's the 3 coding assessments on an example of how that's structured is on the right. What do they entail?
So for this ones, you might be asked to, for example, um, interpret a chart and see what this is saying, how you would create it in Python. So these are, again, going back to the libraries that we spoke about. So pandas, numpy, matplotlib, and seaborn. So you might be asked to complete the part of the tech, the code that you need to write, or interpret a certain chart, or be able to use those libraries that I've been speaking about.
Exactly. And I must admit, I don't have any technical expertise at all myself, but I did get 10 out of 10 on the multiple choice. And obviously, I didn't attempt the coding assessments as much, but I'd like to learn that myself. So we've had many examples of learners um, uh, developing their basic Python skills, passing the test, and obviously entering the Career Accelerator, graduating successfully. So people shouldn't feel that they're the only ones. We've also obviously had many learners, about 30% of our learners are career advancers that already have significant data related skills, but are looking to take that next step and increase their knowledge regarding machine learning and AI in particular. So it is 70% are looking to change careers into data science or related fields. I'll get into some questions, and if anyone's got any other questions, please pop them in the Q&A, even if they're specific to the Python test that we'll be able to provide you. Someone's asked first, hello, is this a paid course? Yes, it is. The amount of time, effort, resources, and support that is available to you over a 7-month program of learning with Cambridge dictates that, yes, it is certainly a paid course. The fees are £8,395, and we support learners in many ways. There's a discount for a £500 discount for those that choose to pay upfront, or we offer interest-free payment plans over a 6, 9, or even an extended period with a finance provider over 24 months as well. The best thing though to do is to speak with your enrolment advisor or potentially myself, and we'll get a link to you shortly regarding that. So interest-free payment plans available, 12 months of career coaching, which would be worth many thousands of pounds should you elect to go and source an executive style career coach yourself, and that's all included in the fees as well. Nicola, thank you for your engagement and interest. Nicola has asked, is this course still relevant in health and social sciences and sports science field? Depends, Nicola, on the roles in which you're seeking. I would say yes, because it's practical, so that learning can be taken and adapted in any workplace, really, or any role. I've seen some amazing application of learning with all different fields, and sports science was certainly one, but it was in a completely left field where it was actually turf management within the sports arenas, such as the World Cup soccer pitches and so forth, where they've applied data science techniques to understand from turf turf management perspective, the rates of wear, nutrition, water, all sorts of different things, and heat map the use on that. But the health and social sciences fields, I think absolutely there's a need for an increase in skill relating to the learning outcomes that this provides. But again, speak with either myself or your enrolment advisor. If you've spoken with Otto or you've received communication with Otto previously, please book a time with Otto. If it is myself or one of the other enrolment advisors, Sonia, for example, book with me, and I'll certainly assist you with that as well. Yuxi, thank you for your engagement as well. Yuxi's asked, would our experience be useful? Felipe, maybe for yourself, I think people that have had programming experiences in other language will find it easy to pick up Python, but will still need to go through the process of demonstrating their competence. Is there some crossover between R and Python in particular that would make that easier?
Well, in terms of syntax, they are almost completely different languages, but the programmatical mind that you need to have for using R is the same programmatical mind that you need for using Python. So it's in your case, it would be just more about learning the syntax of Python more than just trying to learn how to code from scratch, which involves a few other things than just learning the syntax. It's all about getting into that programmatic mind and see, okay, I have to create this line for this other line for this function methods and all the different terminology. You might be more comfortable with that. So even though it's not a direct translation in terms of the syntax, but it's a direct translation in terms of all the other skills around it. So it's absolutely beneficial if you already know a coding language.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yuxi. I hope that helps, and would love to help you further as well. Pardon me. This one's a bit above me, but I'd like to be able to assist. Someone's asked, is this course suitable for someone aspiring to become a computational linguist? Are there previous students who went on to become computational linguists? I don't believe so. It doesn't strike me as one that I recall. However, I think there are many transferable skills between the two. Have you got any insight you'd like to add there, Felipe?
I'm not sure with the computational linguistic curriculum, so I'm not sure if there's any translation between this and that.
I think with the advancement of generative AI and mathematics, I think obviously and machine learning, there's a lot of crossover. I'm not sure if there's a specific program relating to that, but what we can do is also provide you a week by week guide as to the content and the learning outcomes as well. Once you speak with your enrolment advisor, you might have already received that. That will help you decide also where you can identify the value proposition and see the transferable skills that will enable you to develop the skills required to obtain that role. Thank you for the question for the person that lodged that one. Marie-Claire, love the name, and has asked, can I complete course projects by problem solving using the new techniques for my current company? Can I complete the course projects by problem solving using new techniques for my current company? Marie-Claire, I think I understand the question. And whilst the learning has an immediate impact in your current company, you adopt those learning outcomes to be able to apply in your workplace. The actual projects, mini and major projects and business case scenarios in which are used within the course and need to be academically approved by Cambridge. So they do provide a great deal of experience across a broad spectrum of our employer partners and other industries and sectors, which are all relevant because you'll find ways in which to adapt that learning outcome to your own business. But we can't have, say, you ask your employer, say, give me a scenario and I'll write my mini project on this because it hasn't been academically approved by Cambridge, if you get what I mean. So yes, there's that immediate productive outcome to your education because it is so practical, yet it's with prescribed mini and major projects that have been designed to take you on the learning journey required. I hope that that helps. Thanks, Marie-Claire. And you've also asked here, is there an available free resource for learning Python that you would recommend? Marie-Claire, absolutely. So I'm going to go through the process shortly as to how we can support learners with that for sure. Demand is high. we've had 90 people register for this event as an example. We cap our numbers for the Career Accelerator for two reasons. One is the both academic and career coaching capacity that we have. But secondly, and I think most importantly, is the learner experience. So for example, if we were to open this up for 200 or 300 learners globally, as I'm sure we could, it would dictate that we'd need to have 15 or potentially even 20 learners on a project team together for that employer project, thus diluting your potential roles and responsibilities within that team. Therefore, we cap our numbers, ensuring that we can maintain that learning experience for you by only having what is realistically more palatable within the industry of having 5 or 6 within that project team, ensuring that you have the adequate roles and responsibilities and return on investment, obviously. So I'll walk through the process once we finish the Q&A around being accepted into the program, obtaining the free resources that we will and can provide, and then the steps towards taking the technical test ahead of the application close dates as well. Thanks again, Marie-Claire. Thanks for your continued interest and your contribution as well. Are there practice tests available? Yes and no. No, we don't offer practice tests. It's pretty straightforward, and as you've seen, 90% of our cohort pass successfully. But it wouldn't be hard to decipher who else or what other sectors may use similar types of tests, recruitment, for example. So if you do a short Google and find out what sort of tests recruitment firms or, looking for basic Python skills, I think you'd be able to find some things that would align quite closely. Does that make sense, I guess, Felipe, in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, these are basic questions regarding Python. So I think whatever you can find, maybe interview questions regarding Python or a basic assessment of Python skills, and you can definitely find some overlap between those questions and this entry test.
That's exactly right. Yuxi, sorry, has also asked, thanks for your continued input as well. Does the course end before next March? So the course starts with orientation on the 28th of July. Orientation is really important to get you set up to succeed. You meet each other, obviously. You meet the academics from Cambridge, Dr. Ali and the like as well, along with the career coaches and the success managers that are there to support you. And then course 1 will commence 2 weeks following. Then the course will go through with the week's break in between each of the courses right through until the week of the 15th of December, at which point thereafter there'll be a 3-week break before you enter course 4 in March and into, I'll give you the definitive date, the week of the 13th of April is the last week of learning. So slightly after, because of the Christmas break and the breaks that we put in between. It is intensive. I don't want to paint a false picture here at all, because it is intensive that you're going potentially from little experience to a data scientist and having the confidence to apply for those types of roles in 7 months. Therefore, it is around that 20 hours a week of learning. Some people find they do a bit more sometimes, some people find they do a bit less, but as an average, you can expect around that 20 hours of study to meet the requirements and develop the competencies required. It is delivered with a blend of asynchronous and synchronous learning. Synchronous meaning there are live sessions each week, be it tutorials with Felipe or the industry-based mentor, but certainly with the Cambridge academics. Those sessions are always recorded, but best to attend live so that you can ask questions that are pertinent to yourself. And then the majority of learning, so the other 80% or so, is asynchronous, meaning you choose when and how study fits in with your life. If you did a little bit each day, if you did a block on the weekends, it's completely up to you, and it is designed to fit in with you more so than you fit in with university. But it is intensive. But back to your question, Yuxi, just after March, as I've demonstrated, it will complete there as well. Someone's asked, what if I have a bachelor's degree with non-quantitative subject? How would I demonstrate the entry requirements? That's a really, really good question. And we do have an edge case process that we go through with Cambridge after a consultation with your enrolment advisor. They're best placed to look at your skills overall, and package that application that you put in together to present to Cambridge for an answer there as well. if you've got a number of years of data related experience or projects, and even non-credit bearing short courses and things like that, that can all be taken into account. But it will need to be an edge case assessed by Cambridge, obviously, but best to speak with your enrolment advisor regarding that. Do you need to be in the UK for the course? No. We've got probably 80% of our learners are in the UK, but 20% are spread out between Europe. We've got one or two in North America, and certainly some in EMEA or Middle East and South Asia as well. The only thing is that we do have in-person events at Mattingley Hall at Cambridge, and if anyone wants to Google it while I'm talking, it's the home of Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education. It's a 15th century castle and it's stunning. We hosted a recent event, a graduation event for our current and graduating learners. And if you jump on LinkedIn, and I'm not sure if Sam, you've got a link that you can maybe provide, but they are glowing after those events. Certainly people from Europe came across, but it's just something to keep in mind, but you don't miss out on any of the networking opportunities that we host virtually. But we do host 2 events during the program, one for networking and one for graduation, that will see you go to Cambridge and go to Mattingley Hall, meet Dr. Ali in person, the course convener and academic supervisor, and it's a real highlight, to be honest. Sam has put that in there so everyone can have a look at what some of the other learners experienced when they recently went to Mattingley Hall, which looked like a beautiful sunny day in England. When I was there earlier in the year, it was not, but it was still stunning. It was the highlight of my trip to the UK. Just looking at time, we're right for time. Is the course, Josh Rees asked, is the course meant for someone looking for a career change? It's both. Josh Reed, we've got 30% of career advancers already in the field looking to update their skills or apply new skills to their role, and 70% looking to change careers into data science or data related fields. It's important, I guess, I let people know also the types of people that do the program. So previously we've surveyed many learners about what they did prior to joining, and obviously as we get learners now finishing each of the intakes that we've hosted, we survey them about their career outcomes, and that inspires us to do more and more and more. But basically there's 5 groups of backgrounds in which learners come from. First, there's business management people. So people understanding the need to transition their organisations or their teams using data science techniques and AI trends. They could be senior managers, founders, change managers, business owners, business managers, and the like. Then we've got our people with analytical backgrounds. There's many data analysts. There are data scientists looking to progress their career. There's strategic insights analysts, ML ops consultants, and the like as well. The majority come from engineering and technology backgrounds. So we've got cloud solution architects, software developers, SharePoint consultants, engineers, senior software engineers. I could go on. I love the fact that we've also got research and scientific backgrounds. So scientists, senior bioinformaticians, principal scientists, postdoctoral learners, PhD candidates that are using data science for their PhDs and theses and the like. And lastly, we've got consulting and advisories. So people that are freelancing, digital consultants, change project managers, principal consultants and governance leads looking to add data science. I think that for everyone in attendance though, the joy is the diversity of that group of people that you'll be learning with, which is probably evidenced here with not only the geographic locations, but backgrounds and skill levels relating to Python. Your professional network of fellow Cambridge learners is going to be an asset in itself. And we see them, I mean, you'll see it all over LinkedIn of how much people actually connect and engage. And we design that on purpose. You're apart online, but you're together in the program. So it is a brilliant aspect of the program as well. So in short, yes, many career changes, many career advances. I wouldn't say there's many career starters though. It's a bit above someone looking to commence their career. Is it a certified course? Yes, it is a certification, not a qualification, Josh Ree. So Cambridge issued the certificate of completion at the end that you'll obtain obviously at either Mattingley Hall or digitally. and it is a certified Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education program. It's not a qualification as in a master's, although it is aimed at postgraduate level, level 7 qualification standards. It's designed to be postgraduate, so that's hence the requirement of that undergraduate degree with quantitative unit of study prior to commencing. Thank you for your input and questions. Someone's got a high diploma in educational electrical engineering. Can I switch to study data science? And what is the credit course unit for data science? What is a credit course unit? There's no credit because it is postgraduate level. So good question. High diploma, is it a postgraduate diploma or higher education diploma? If you can pop that in, it might help me, but I think the best thing I can recommend that you do is book a time with your enrolment advisor to discuss your individual circumstances and whether that can be considered for entry. If it contains quantitative units of study at a undergraduate level then or postgraduate level, then I'm sure you meet the criteria for entry. Thank you for your question, though. Someone else has also asked, I think you've covered this already, but what exactly the timeline of the intake? So 20 hours per week for how many weeks would I be expected to give? I assume there are many people under, yes. So to frame that for you as well, so course 1 runs for 6 weeks after orientation. So 20 hours a week starts pretty much straight away, depending on your level of experience. And as an average, some weeks you might do more, some weeks you might do less, but I just need to be clear that it's an average of around that 20 hours. And then you have a week's break. Course 2 runs for 6 weeks, again, 20 hours or so, with a week's break. And then course 3 is more advanced and more in depth. So it's still around that 20 hours, although you know, some people experience a bit more then, but has a week's break in the middle to help you refresh, reflect, and go again. And then it probably tapers off a little with course 4 and the industry project, not quite being 20 hours, depending on how in depth the project is and your peers' work and the like that you work together on. So I think it's safe to say it's an average over that 7 month of learning, and then it extends into the 8 months with the breaks that you get that we find really, really important for our learners as well. But thank you for that question. I hope that answers that. Blend of synchronous and asynchronous. So there's live sessions each week that you join with the Cambridge academics and the supports. And then there's the majority is asynchronous. So you choose when and how. It's just, I think the best thing to do is get into a rhythm and set a study plan, a learning plan. If it is that you need to discuss with others around you the importance of you taking on study for the benefit of your career, for the family, whatever it may be, that they know to give you the space, and it might be that you do 2 hours a day and then supplement the other requirements with weekend work or the like as well. But sticking to a healthy study habit is most important. If I have to miss attending the course in March, would it be possible to apply for an extension for the final project? Yuxi, if you've got a holiday or something like that planned, it is not, you're not able to get an extension, but you would be able to talk with your success manager about deferring course 4 and the industry project and picking it up in the next round of that the next group will come through on. The reason you can't extend the project is because it's a team project, obviously. So that makes that more challenging, but we're here to support you, obviously. So we'd like to find solutions to the challenge. The only, I guess, challenge I can perceive that isn't ideal, but it is still a good experience, Yuxi, is that you'll go through with a cohort of learners and get it done, or get the learning done, I think is the most important thing. If you put it off forever, something always comes up, but you'll be doing the group project with a group of learners that will be not fresh into the program, at the same level of the program just a few months after your good self. So you can certainly do it that way, but you can't extend the final project. You can defer and come back to it. Thanks, Yuxi. Marie Claire, again, are the synchronous sessions around the same time each week? Are there multiple options when to join webinars, for example? Yes, there will be a set schedule. Usually they're offered as a combination of either lunchtime or evening sessions with the Cambridge academics. I I don't know the actual day for this upcoming one. It will depend on their availability, but we can communicate that closer to the time. So yeah, a choice of lunchtime or evening sessions, usually around 7 p.m. And then usually 7 p.m. for industry sessions that we might have, or master classes and things like that. Some are held at midday, but we try and understand and do understand, obviously, that a lot of our learners are working and therefore work around those times as well. So Master's asked, how will you manage a data science course in 7 months? This is exactly how we've done it. It is intensive. It is industry engaged. It helps with your employability outcomes as well, but it is a lot of work, Master. So that's how it is. I mean, the challenge that employers told us about people coming out of a master's in data science and into the workplace was that they had all the technical skills from 2 years ago and didn't have the application of learning in the real world, and the ability to demonstrate value to that prospective employer. So that's why it's condensed. It's more intensive, but it is completely relevant to what employers are seeking today. So that's certainly how that is done in that time frame as well. Don't forget that everyone's at different stages of learning as well, in terms of their experience they bring prior to the program and the transferable skills that your coaches will look to highlight for employment outcomes as well. Some people may be seeking a very entry-level role, others can't. You're looking to career change and you can't take that much of a jump. So what are the roles that I could be seeking in a conversation with your coach, obviously, that would enable me to still obtain a salary that support my family, identify my transferable skills, but use data science techniques in those roles. It's not always a data science specific role that people are seeking, but there's the data science skills and techniques adapted for all sorts of different roles now and into the future. The main thing is these skills will have you in high demand, coupled with your previous experience, hopefully as well. Hopefully that answers your question. Vinoda has asked, yes, the next intake commences in October. I'd appreciate if you could share the course to the link, and I'd like to review the structured projects. I'll bring that up. I don't know if you've got that, Sam, but I'll bring up a link for the content as well. I think it's really important, actually. Let me bring it up in 1 second, and then we're going to go through the process for everyone as well. This link should work here. Now, forgive me, this is a comprehensive document. I'll put it in the chat now. Actually, I'll put it in there in a moment. It's a very comprehensive document that demonstrates week by week exactly what you'll be studying and the learning outcomes and the like as well. So thank you. I think we've done with questions. What I'll do now is just go to the next slide, if we can, Sam, and explain the process from here. So we speak with your enrolment advisor or myself and submit your application. You receive an offer and secure your placement via a 10% deposit, be it direct with us on a payment plan, be it upfront with the discount. We'll work all that out with you, or with our finance provider in StepX that provide a 24-month payment plan with no interest. Regardless, there's a 10% deposit to secure your placement. As I said before, placements are limited because of the learning experience that we want to provide. So we do recommend that you secure your placement. You'll be given your offer subject, obviously, to you passing the technical test. Once you go through that and are accepted, we will then be giving you the free resources, enabling you to go through over, say, the next 3 or 4 weeks to develop your Python competencies. And then when you're ready, take that technical test that Felipe's given us the overview of. You'll then, once you pass that test, you're ready to commence in July and become a data scientist or a role, your dream role, in early 2026 there. So it is a meeting with your enrolment advisor if you haven't. Submit your application and receive your letter of offer and the free Python resources. Pay your 10% deposit, then take the test when you're ready, ideally within the next 4 weeks before our next batch come through that go through this process and are taking up those placements. And then once you pass the test, we celebrate it with you and introduce you to the success team that will nurture you between then and commencing the program. Next slide, if we can. I'm just going to check if there's any other questions that have come through. And I'll put in the chat in a second that that thing as well. No, I'm going to put it in the chat now so everyone can obtain this resource, which is a very comprehensive overview of the content. Don't look at it now, look at it when we finish the webinar. Any final questions for either myself or Felipe? I'd like to just finish by saying well done to you by choosing to attend today. You've armed yourself with and taken the next step towards you obtaining your intended career outcome. We here at 4thRev and Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education strive to provide career outcomes. That's why it's such career focused and hyper relevant practical education that rewards learners with a faster way of obtaining your career outcome. And we celebrate that. We celebrate it in the form of the events that you've seen on LinkedIn. We celebrate that internally by promoting learner outcomes. But more importantly, we love the fact that you share them with us. So taking the first step today is a great thing to do. The next thing to do is take the next step. I've gone through and it's on the screen still. Or book a time with your enrolment advisor or myself. Take the next step, starting your application. Feel free to do that even before we start or have the discussion. One of my enrolment advisors is heavily booked, or they both are heavily booked for this program, given the demand. That's why I'm opening up my calendar to support you as well. And lastly, speak to those around you about the commitment. It is an intensive program over that 7 to 9 months of 7 months of learning, 9 months of calendar, but it is designed for you to support those around you more so, be it higher earning potential, career satisfaction, all those sorts of things that come with it. But get their buy-in into you doing an amazing program with Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education and 4thRev. We look forward to welcoming, supporting, and hopefully celebrating your success. But now I'd like to take a moment to also thank Sam in the background, as always, that puts on the events. Thank you to so many of you for attending. It's amazing that we've had 90 register for the program, and many will receive the recording. And most of all, thank you, Felipe, for your time and your expertise in assisting people interested in furthering their career in data science by giving us an overview of the technical aspects required.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everybody, for attending as well.
Have a great day, everyone. We look forward to seeing you take the next step, and we're here to support you as well. So thank you kindly and have a great day.